Only gonna social keeps drawing like it's arts and crafts. Full evaluation needed, full clearance to the coaching staff car. Them drawing ain't feeling so. Somebody who I might feel into. Give me a good damn reason why we ain't be a top 6 all season. Whoop. Only gonna social keeps drawing like it's arts and crafts. Full evaluation needed, full clearance to the coaching staff car. Them drawing ain't feeling so. Somebody who I might feel into. Give me a good damn reason why we ain't be a top 6 all season. Whoop. Yo, and we're back again with another one. This is your boy Firms, and it's the OT'99 Banter Room, where opinions get shared and smoke gets served. So today, we've witnessed another board draw between Manchester United and Chelsea. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. Now, let's get into it. Now, when I look at the team, first of all, I'm going to start off with the lineup. I saw Dan James. I wasn't too surprised that Dan James would start. I thought United's going to revert back to their counter-attacking style, and Dan James fits the bill well. And then we obviously had Greenwood, who's been in a bit of form of late, not getting as many goals, but he's in terms of his performance on a pitch, it's just been a lot better. His work rate's been a lot better. He's been getting into positions a little bit more than he's just been present. And then obviously Rashford, Martial. I believe he made the right decision, Ollie, in benching him, because I just feel like he needed to come out of the limelight of all, that negative press that he's getting, as well as the racial issues. I believe he needed a rest just to sit it out, and it'll bode well for him coming off the bench for the next, let's see how it goes for the next few games, him coming off the bench and seeing how that works. But yeah, I wasn't surprised to see the lineup, to be fair. I was surprised to see Scott McTominay. I didn't think he would have been fit enough or ready to come and play in a game of this magnitude, but that was a surprise inclusion. I wasn't surprised about Lindelof partnering Maguire. It always seems to be Ollie's go-to, even though Eric Bailly, you saw in the Europa League game against Real Sociedad, he looked amazing there. Ollie obviously doesn't see him as a person for the future in terms of starting week in, week out. He doesn't seem to have that much faith in him. And what can we do? We're sticking with Lindelof and Bailly. And to be fair though, in today's game, they looked fairly comfortable throughout the game. There was no big threat from Chelsea, and vice versa from us. There was a few odd opportunities here and there, but there wasn't sort of like continuous, like being split open. I didn't see anyway from both ends. But both teams did have their chances and opportunities where they could have won the game. But I would have liked to see Bailly starting against either Maguire or Lindelof. You know how I feel about that. But yeah, getting into the game. So I feel like the first half, we played a high line. We played a high press, and I think we looked a lot better in the first half in certain parts of the first half anyway. And I felt like that was surprising to me, because usually when we play Maguire and Lindelof, we're playing a low block, we're sitting deep. So I was happy to see us play higher up the pitch, and I think one of the reasons why we were playing higher up the pitch is because Giroud was leading the line for Chelsea. Giroud is obviously known for his aerial threat. United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably thought, we're conceding a lot of goals from deep in our own half. And if you're getting set pieces and stuff like that, when you're giving away free kicks, deep in our own half, you've got a predator like that Giroud. When it comes to headers, it's dangerous. It's just dangerous. He's a machine. So I can see the reason why we're playing the high press, and it worked out for us. Obviously, we know that Giroud as well is not that quick. It's not as quick as you would say Tammy Abraham is or Timo Werner is. So we felt comfortable enough, to play a higher line where we would have got caught, with a ball over the top or counter-attacking football. But saying that, I think as well as that, you still had the threat of Hudson-Odoi. He got injured, unfortunately for Chelsea. He got something with his knee, got a knock to that. They didn't have Pulisic on the pitch. They had Ziyech, so they didn't really have that much pace on the wings either. So it allowed us to play that high press. Secondly, what was the other point? So we had Dan James as well, who's really, really good at tracking back. He uses his pace really well and getting back. And we saw it throughout that game. he covers, his fullback. He's always tracking back. He was covering, and that's what you want to see from a wide man as well as going forward. You want to see them tracking back. You want to see them putting in a shift defensively. And that's what Dan James done. So again, like when it comes to that sort of high press, at least we had an outlet in guys like Dan James or Wan-Bissaka as well, or where they've got their pace on each side of the pitch. Obviously, you got your Luke Shaws as well, so they can cope with that any counter attack wherever that pace may come from. But like I said, Chelsea didn't provide any of that worry in terms of pace. Obviously, in the second half, they brought on Pulisic and and guys like that where they have a bit more pace. But I think we cope defensively as well. So that's the positives for United. But the negatives as well, if you're looking at it, it's games like this where you miss your, Cavani's, you miss your Paul Pogba's. So if you look at it in a game where Scott McTominay, it's towards the end of the game where Scott McTominay got the ball, I think from Wan-Bissaka. He was running down the line and he had about, Rashford and he had Dan James speeding into the box. He had about 3 players in that box. And all McTominay had to do is just put it in their path, He ended up crossing the ball, hitting it behind these players. And we missed a golden opportunity to smash and grab, steal that game and nick the 1-0. We also had opportunities where, obviously you saw the penalty that we, proposed penalty at, the rules are so confusing. It seemed like it did hit, was it Hudson-Odoi's hand, I think. But the referee, he went to the monitor as well, and he decided that it wasn't a handball for whatever reason, or maybe it came off Greenwood first, or whatever the case was, and he decided that it wasn't a penalty. So there's an opportunity there that, in games like that, it's decisions like that is where it does become, it's really important. So I don't really talk about ref decisions and all of that stuff with teams that I would hope, that United should be able to, beat or be comfortably, But in games like this, I always knew it was going to be tight. I predicted 1-1. It ended up being 0-0, and it just goes to show, Thomas Tuchel's always about the tactics. He's always about trying to, make sure he's not losing the game, go on an offensive, whatever. But he's not trying to lose the game. So I always knew it was going to be a tight game. And the record as well. So United's obviously their away form has been really good. We haven't lost an away game for the whole year, basically. So I didn't think that we was going to lose today. And Chelsea's form, even though they've been clawing points here and there when they've, had Thomas Tuchel as manager, or Tuchel, however you pronounce it, they haven't been electrifying. It still seems like they've got another gear in them that they still need to find. So I wasn't expecting them to blow us out of the water either. So I went for a draw, and it ended up being a draw. But, a game like this, so I remember, I can't remember who took that shot, but there was someone that took, I don't know if it was Scott McTominay, took a long range shot, and Mendy, Chelsea's goalkeeper, sort of stumbled the ball, and we had sort of Greenwood, who was late to react. Yeah, I think we had, like, in terms of when the ball was spilled, we just didn't have anyone running onto that ball, running in the box, anticipating that sort of thing. And you would see someone like Cavani in a situation like that where the goalkeeper spilled the ball. I could just picture it. Cavani being the poacher, the fox in the box, would have probably, that would have been an opportunity for him to get his toe on the ball and, put it in the end of the net. So those situations there, I was just like, I wish, like Scott McTominay with that pass, if that was Pogba in that situation, maybe that ball would have found that, one of Dan James or Rashford or something, making a break through the opposition's half. So it's just like there's times where you're just wishing, where you need that moment of brilliance. That would have been it. That would have been it in a game like that where we could have, produced something, out of nothing and got the win. Bruno Fernandes, he had a poor game today. It was quiet. In terms of his fitness, in terms of tracking back, in terms of closing down, it's part and parcel of Bruno. He does that day in and day out. So, in a sense, where he's not performing well in terms of creating an assist or creating chances, getting a pass off correctly, whatever. It wasn't too good, but you know, at least he was, you know, closing down, you know, tracking back, doing what he normally does. And without that, I'll be screaming like, what's he doing on the pitch? Like, you know, get him off the pitch. But at least he contributes that to the game, you know. But it just goes to show, you know, once if you can keep Bruno quiet, or if Bruno doesn't have a good game, currently this United crop of players finds it difficult to create chances, you know, especially with Pogba being out. And this is why creatively, you know, you need players that can, you know, provide that brilliance. Maybe Oli thought, you know, in a game like this, someone like Diallo is you know, it's too much for him to play him in a game like this. He's still probably easing him in. Maybe he feels more comfortable if we're, you know, 2-3 goals up or 4 goals up, where he feels, you know, comfortable enough to bring in guys like Diallo. But he's someone that's got creativity. He's someone that hopefully we can get up to speed, you know, a lot more quicker. He'll be able to be providing, you know, those killer balls, providing support in the team. This is, but again, you know, I scream Sancho all the time, and I know, you know, he's someone that, you know, I know that Oli will, you know, especially when you're spending 80, 90 million or whatever, will be playing game in, game out, and he's a guy that, you know, he'll put his trust in, and he's a guy that can create, he's a guy that can score goals, he's a guy that can support. So when Oli's, so if Bruno's having a bad day, you know, you can look at other people like Sancho, who's a natural creator. It's not like Rashford, or it's not like Martial, you know, and it's not like Cavani or any of our forward men like Greenwood. He's a proper winger and a proper creator, and our team could do with another one of those people. We could do, especially with, you know, Pogba probably potentially leaving in the summer. We need to be having someone like that. Yeah, we need a centre back. Yeah, we need a DM, but we really do need a creator up the top of the pitch. But anyway, talking about the DMs, if you talk about Scott McTominay and Fred, for me, you know, they provide, you know, solidity in the midfield. You know, they close down well, etc. But what we benefit in sort of brawn and hard work, and still we give up, or we lack in sort of quality, creativity in that middle of the pitch by those two players. And I just feel that United, you know, when we had Herrera, he was a good balance. You know, he was a guy that could listen to instruction. He will mark Hazard out of the game, for example, when he was in the Premier League against Chelsea. He was disciplined. You know, he had goals in him. He had a pass in him, and he was a good balance between being defensive as well as offensive. A nice box-to-box type guy. And when we bought Fred, I thought Fred would be that person, you know. In Shakhtar, was definitely a lot more attacking. We tried to convert him more into a DM type person. And yeah, he's fitting that bill, you know, relatively okay. But that attacking Fred, that sort of pass, that Shakhtar-esque type Fred, we haven't seen it in the Premier League. Certainly not yet at Manchester United. But what we do need is someone that has that balance, you know. Maybe a Jorginho or Kovacic, you know, you see it with Chelsea. They've got the balance. Those are guys that can control a game, dictate the middle of the pitch, you know, pick a pass, and do it well. And I feel like United can do that, you know, just to add that little bit more to our midfield. We can do with that, you know. And like I said, Partey can do it. These DMs can do it, you know. And we need that in our locker as well, because yeah, you know, we got a lot of goals, and we scored a lot of goals. You know, 9's come from Southampton, but we scored a lot of goals. But in games like this, where you need that little bit more, you'll be looking at, you know, you'll be looking at your midfield, other players on the pitch. You'll be looking at your Shaws, your fullbacks. You know, teams spend a lot of money on their fullbacks. You've seen Pep spend tons of money on, you know, Cancelo, you know, Mendy, who's not even hardly getting in the pitch. You know, he's got guys. You know, he's spent a lot of money on fullbacks, and there's a reason why. You know, Liverpool, their whole game plan, their basis is on their fullbacks whipping it in, you know. And it's no coincidence that they're doing really well, you know. And these guys get a lot of assists, and they're like, influential. Obviously, Liverpool's not having a great season, but they're influential in the style of play for these managers, Klopp and Pep. And I just feel like we need to start looking, as well as dealing with the priorities, which is, you know, DM, you know, centre back, right wing, striker. We also need to be picking these particular players that can also provide that quality pass as well as defend in the middle of the pitch anyway. And I look at guys like Saul Niguez, for example. He's another guy, a better Herrera for me, you know. He's a guy that can, you know, do that defensive duties, hard working, but can also score a goal, pick a pass, is quality. He's a perfect guy, and I think we need someone like that in the middle of our pitch. It's a shame that we didn't keep Herrera, because Herrera for me was one of the first guys on our team sheet in my mind when he was at United. But whatever was happening contractually, we just couldn't find an agreement. I think, you know, we didn't value what he wanted, what he thought he was worth. So he ended up moving on. But you know, we do need someone like Saul Niguez, another Herrera type player that can sit in the middle and partner someone like Pogba or even Scott McTominay or Fred or whatever. I think we'll have a better balance going forward. So I hope we can get some good business done in the summer to help that, you know. And yeah, so, you know, obviously I spoke about Sancho. Going back to Sancho, it is looking like Dortmund, you know, the chief came out, I can't pronounce his name, but the chief CEO person for Dortmund came out saying, you know, obviously Champions League is important for them. They need to finish in Champions League right now. You know, they're outside of that spot, you know, and it will be key for them keeping Sancho, because, you know, they said that they don't want to be a team that takes out loans to be balancing off debts, you know, when they can sell a player. And you've got Haaland and you've got Sancho, who stand out as clear guys that is on the selling list for Dortmund. It seems like, you know, Dortmund is more willing to sell Sancho. They were willing to do it last season. We just couldn't get the deal over the line. There's no saying that they won't sell Haaland, because Haaland, you know, it's got a buyout clause for next season for about 70 odd million or whatever that is. And if they can get that, if they got a crazy offer this season, which I doubt, this summer, which I highly doubt anyway, nothing enough to convince Dortmund like, wow, I've got to do business. I mean, if it was something silly like 150 million or something stupid like that, 130, maybe 20 million, they might be convinced to do something. But you know, if it's marginally, you know, 80 million and, you know, his buyout clause is 70 million for next season, you're gonna want to keep him and then sell him next season, you know. So it's looking like Sancho's the guy that they're willing to sell. But we got to agree a deal. Obviously this season, you know, Sancho's gonna probably be offered out for about 80, no more than 90. I wouldn't say no more than 90. There's not many teams that are still right now, even though the price has dropped by 30 mil, it's gonna be going in for Sancho. They just ain't got the money to do it. I know PSG's focused on sorting out Mbappe and Neymar's contracts. You know, there's someone that could interest them. You know, they have got the cash to do it, but there's not many clubs that would do it. So I say, you know, maybe a Chelsea. You know, I don't see Liverpool, because you don't get a guy like that to bench who, you know, Firmino, Salah, you know, Mane, those guys relatively start. They got Jota as well. You know, these guys, why are they gonna look at spending all of that for Sancho when their attacks been doing okay? And you know, for them, they'll be thinking about how they can, you know, sort their defense out. You know, maybe they'll be looking at a centre back. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like United's still gonna be in the running, still probably a favourite, and hopefully we can get that over the line. You know, we've still got like a lot of assets. Like I was saying earlier, we've got, you know, Pogba, who wants to leave anyway. Potentially get, you know, 50 million for him, get the sell. You know, Lingard, you know, 20 million, get the sell. That's already 70 million. You know, we can make a little bit of cash here and there, but we can use this, you know, sorry, we've got Henderson as well. That's probably another 30 million, 40 million. So we can probably make up, you know, somewhere between 70 and 100 million, which we can use to supplement our existing transfer kitty, where we can hopefully try to get someone like a Sancho. What we had, hopefully, that money set aside that we didn't spend last season, should at least have 40, 30, 40 million, because we did dip into some of it buying Diallo, you know, buying some of these other guys. But we should at least have 50, 60 maybe million of that left. and then you can supplement it with these other cells, you know, and then bring in the players that we need to strengthen up this team and you know, have a proper title push. But you know what? That's for the summer. We're in right now, and right now, you know, we've got a draw against Chelsea. I'll prefer it over an L, to be fair, but I thought that, you know, you look at some of these games, they probably thought they could have nicked it too. And I look at this game and thinking we could have nicked a point, whether it would have been the penalty or that last chance or just some, you know, just the final bit of quality we missed. But yeah, we move on. You know, we've still got tough games. I think we still got City coming up. That's going to be a massive challenge. And we've just got to be ready, man. Hopefully, you know, Cavani's fighting fit and ready back for that. You know, our fingers crossed. You know, Pogba, but I can't really see it. But you know, hopefully we can put up a good show against City. You know, it's a derby. You know, those type of games. You know, to an extent, form has a big influence on games like that. But when you're talking about a derby, there's that factor, that element that anything can happen. You know, so it'll be a big statement if United can, you know, get the 3 points against City. But City's running away with it. You know, they're establishing a gap. You know, they beat West Ham. It was just too easy. They're unstoppable right now. It'll be great to see United knock them off the perch a bit. You know, give them a bit of a setback and see how they respond to that. You know, but right now they're running away with it with ease, and we need to do something about that. United need to do something about that, and not let, you know, teams like Leicester, you know, overtake us, get back in the game. Leicester right now, they dropped points against Arsenal. United had a good chance to establish a bit more, you know, gap between us and them. But right now we've only managed to just, you know, get 1 point. So it's still gonna be tight. It's still tight at top two right now. And we've got City coming up. So who knows what the table's gonna be looking like. But you know, I don't want to be dropping any less than, you know, second place. We finished third last season. Progression will be finished second. Hopefully with more points than we did last season. The points is the key thing. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to be finishing, you know, third. I want to be finishing second. It's a sign of progression. And we just need to keep going. We really do need to keep going. But, I mean, yeah. I mean, Oli, I saw what you tried to do. The attacking football was boring to a lot of people. I saw what he was trying to do. And last season it worked with the counter-attacking football. You know, we reverted more in the second half to counter-attacking football or the latter stages towards the first half. And it worked last season against the big team. So I'm not surprised you did it now. You know, Dan James is in a bit of form. Rashford's probably our most potent outside of Cavani anyway. He's got the speed. You know, and Greenwood's got the speed and he's a bit more informed. So I'm not surprised with the lineup at all. I'm not surprised with the tactics. And for me, I love to see entertaining football, as you all would love to see entertaining football. But when it comes down to it, results is what matters right now. We're in the business end of the season. We need to be getting points. And if we've got to be, you know, having these boring, scrappy, smash and grab games, so be it, you know. If we've got to come from Europa, teams are dropping points after Europa as well. Like, players are dropping like flies as well. We saw how many guys go from, you know, Leicester lost a lot, hella guys. They lost so many guys, and you know, it's good that we've got through it. You know, stayed fit. You know, managed to get, you know, guys played the 90 minutes, like, you know, rash and things along those lines. But you know, we at some point we've got to move away from these draws and start getting wins under our belts. We need more wins under our belts, because all of these draws are going to catch up with us. You know, you'll look back and start regretting it. You know, what could have happened if we won this game without, you know, as opposed to drawing. So, Ollie, fix up, look sharp. Anyway, it's your boy Firms, and I'm out. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and support.